Hi, I'm Robert Dawes, the new Executive Director for the Anglican Alliance. And this is my first time into the Fono region. It's been absolutely fantastic to come here, but it really does feel like a huge chunk of the world that I have never seen before. And it's so exciting to see a different way of being church and a different way of thinking, which is incredibly exciting. You're taking the lead on so many things, the PIR, Indigenous theology, the SIVA work, the climate work you're also doing, and that deep connection between cultures and the understanding that's been built on centuries-old learning and adaptation is brilliant to see and has completely inspired me and helped me to change how I think about a lot of ways in which the church can work and will work. I get the best part of the job though, which is to take all that learning and share that across the Anglican communion even further to help equip, inspire, and bring a different narrative that's full of hope to the rest of the Anglican communion and world.
Ainsley, can you tell us a little bit about Agents of Change, what it is, and what's been happening in the last year across the Pacific?
Right, so the Agents of Change is an Anglican Alliance program which is rolled out in the Oceania region, and it equips the communities with project management skills and financial generating income for communities so that they can thrive together as a community and family as a whole. And in the last year, we've been looking into training the facilitators. And this is both in the Anglican Church of Papua New Guinea and in the Anglican Church of Melanesia, and having that support from our senior leaders, especially our bishops, and which is a good thing. And with the Anglican Church of Papua New Guinea, we've done a desk review, so that is in terms of monitoring and evaluating the impact of the Agents of Change program.
Tagalin, can you please share with us what the plans are for the next year for Agents of Change?
So we have these plans for maybe the next 5 years. And so the plan started with having the Council of Bishops to endorse the Agents of Change program, meaning that it's going to be a program within the church. And so having that endorsement was very important for us. And so the plan is that we start rolling it out in one of our dioceses. And as soon as we complete one diocese, we continue on to the next diocese. So it's going to take us some time. So, you know, when we look at this 5-year plan, we are taking into consideration the number of dioceses that we need to cover and the number of trainings that needs to happen. And the most important thing about the trainings in this particular program is to empower our people in the different dioceses, as well as the sustenance of the program within the church overall. So there's going to be a series of training for the different dioceses. At the moment, we are completing one diocese this month, and then we move on to the next one. And so that is our big plan for the Agents of Change. And we will be very happy to work throughout the region in this particular program wherever the need arises.
Dennis, can you please share with us the long-term vision of Agents of Change for the region?
The long-term vision for the Agents of Change in the region is to roll it out with the youth and the religious orders. And secondly, we will integrate the program into the theological college. And the third is to integrate it also into the adult literacy program.
Sister Veronica, can you tell us what's been happening in safeguarding over the last 12 months or so?
I've been appointed to be the member of the Safe Church on behalf of the Oceania, and it's very exciting for me. There's so many things to learn, and I'm still working my way through. We've been having meetings through Zoom every month, and also we've been meeting face-to-face in different countries. So far last year, I just joined the a member of the Anglican Community and Safe Church only from 2023. So there were 2 meetings last year.
Wonderful. And can you tell us what the plans are for the coming year?
The coming year, we're going to have another face-to-face meeting in Dubai in May. And then in September, it would be another provincial meeting conference for the Mexico country.
And what would be the long-term vision for safeguarding across the region?
It is very important that I meet the other members in this meeting in Oceania, ORAC, sorry, and listening to one another. It makes me think about what would be the plans for us together, and to know that all our churches in all our provinces within the Oceania is safe, and there have been workshops or awareness about the safe church.
Hi Ethel, it's just so lovely to be with you again. What's been happening in safeguarding over the last 12 months?
Yes, safeguarding is a very important aspect of the church in terms of delivering safe mission, as well as having safe spaces within the church. In the past months and years, safeguarding has been within the projects that some provinces have been delivering within the communities, not the wider church. It is more concentrated within the projects and not the wider church.
And so what would you see as being the plans for the next 12 months or so for safeguarding?
Our plan now for the next 6 months or 1 year is to establish Oceania working group to try and work together in enabling or enhancing the work of safeguarding in the region in terms of mapping resources, as well as maybe some training, and as well as supporting them how to implement the policies and also report back to ORAC.
So Ethel, with all of that, what would you say would be that longer term vision for safeguarding in the region?
Longer term vision is to see that all the dioceses and provinces have safeguarding focal points. And I believe with the statement that Sister Veronica has mentioned, with that statement, I believe that that could happen, because people will see the statement and it is like a motivation for all the churches to be able to be engaged in safeguarding.
Father Nelson, tell us about the Environment Observatories project in the Solomon Islands.
Thank you. We do the environment observation in the Solomon Islands, especially with the Church of Melanesia, by one of our desk officers, Frida. And there are 10 observatory sites, the 2 in Malaita and the other ones in Guadalcanal. She travels to Malaita once a month, and fortnightly she travels around Guadalcanal observing sites, taking rainfall data and sea level rises. After she collect all these data, she provided the data to the various desk officers, especially to the climate change and agriculture department within the church, and then we work on there to do some establish some adaptation programs within the church.
And what might some of these adaptation programs look like?
The adaptation programs are looking at crops which can grow in different soils because when the sea level rises, the density of the soil changes. So we're looking at crops that can be adapted to different soils, the changing of the climate.
And where would you like this project to go in the future?
At the moment, we have this project been done in only 3 dioceses. Within the Church of Melanesia, we have 10 dioceses. So we want to increase this observatory site to other 7 dioceses so that we can cover the whole church and different islands, because different islands have their own context and there is a differences in the sea level rises and the climate change that affected the communities in different places.
And can you tell us a little bit about the adaptation booklets which are being produced and how they will be used?
The adaptation booklets, it will be socialized or made awareness to various communities, and it will be very useful because the communities will learn how to adapt to the changing climates, because we cannot do anything about the changing climates. The climate changes, so the only thing is that we have to adapt to the changing climate, the changing sea level rises and the changing climate affect the communities. So it will train and enable the people in various communities to adapt to all these changes that affected the islands.
And all of these environmental projects, are you linking any theology in with this?
Yes, we are linking all this environmental that we find. We have the theology of disaster resilience, which we work closely with the CANDO project, which involves the SICA, the Solomon Island Christian Association, the whole church. So we do the TDRCC, which different clergies, different members working within the Melanesian Board of Mission, different desks that carry out the theology of disasters, making awareness the importance of the disasters that arises due to climate changes and making them aware and prepare them well. Yeah, the theology of disaster enables communities to be prepared for the disasters that arises due to the changing climate.
Brother Christopher John, how did the Franciscan brothers get involved with the issue of logging?
Well, we're Franciscans and we always have felt that environment and care for that is part of our mission. We've thought about that, but it was about 5 years ago we really decided to jump ahead and to get involved in responding to the logging around the Solomon Islands and the human rights violations that are connected with it. So we partnered with our NGO in Geneva, Franciscans International, and also with other groups on the ground in Solomons, including the Sisters of the Church and the Catholic Dominicans. And so our information was presented. It became part of the Universal Periodic Review of Human Rights. It went to the Solomons government. They responded. They made some definite commitments to fix some of those problems. That was 5 years ago. And we are now at the stage where we are collecting the information to see what has changed. What has changed for the good, or what hasn't changed yet, or what maybe still needs a bit of help and encouragement to get it to move on and become better.
And how do you feel local communities have reacted to this work by the brothers?
We, as part of our information gathering, we went to some of the local villages and we met with people. One of the challenging questions we had was, we've had NGOs come here, ask the same questions and nothing changes. What's different about you? And that question really stung me because, what is different about us? Well, we are a religious community. We are made of brothers who come from up and down that road. We pass by those villages. That has to be, I think, our point of credibility and our connection, that we are locally connected. We come from those areas, and so we have to be working to see that things do change, that we are not just the people who collect information and go away. So we are engaging again in continuing visits to those villages and trying to follow up on our first visits.
And what do you think the region could learn from this piece of work?
I think one thing the region could learn from it is that it's possible to take a local issue into an international arena like the United Nations. We have our partners, for example, the Anglican office at the United Nations could provide a partnership with another part of the region who are wanting also to take one of these issues into that wider international area.
What has happened since 2024, that's last year? There's been a lot of things that's been happening within the disaster resilience and response phase. There was the Vanuatu earthquake response that occurred, and it was through the partnerships that were built across our Anglican provinces through platforms as this. That we were able to keep in contact with our practitioners on the ground and help support them in terms of funding and as well as accompaniment. And it was through the testimonials from some of our members in Vanuatu that were grateful for the support provided. And it's also through such networks and relationships that we are able to not only support each other financially, but more importantly, pray and remember each other and the work that we do within the region. There's also training of trainers that was conducted, and this was through the Diocese of Polynesia for their community integrated vulnerability assessment. And it's through initiatives like this that we need to capture stories and document what Anglicans are doing across our region. And not forgetting toolkits such as Pastors and Disasters. We are in the process of finalizing some of the translations for these toolkits, and hopefully in the near future we get to run training of trainers program on the use of these toolkits. And not forgetting our resilience course online. And this included members from Samoa, Vanuatu, Tonga, some members from Fiji, and the Solomons. And so it's through initiatives like this that we are able to create awareness and help our members in the region know that we are not alone, but we are part of a bigger family within the Anglican Alliance. And you might also ask, what's our plans for this year moving forward? Well, just recently we've completed a workshop called Partners in Resilience and Response, and it was through this workshop that we got Anglican practitioners in the area of disaster management and also our partner agencies to be in the same room to share challenges and lessons learned, and also map way forward on how we can work together as a region and promote some of the work that we are doing, as well as reaching our communities and vulnerable ones at the grassroots levels. And I think one of the visions, or the vision for such initiatives as this, is to promote and to have our regional Anglican provinces be prepared and to be able to effectively respond to disasters through things such as having a disaster management plan, having focal points for each of the countries within our Anglican provinces, and having contextual standards of best practices so that when things happen, we know who to contact, we know what to refer to, and we know what are the effective plans in place to carry these things through. And as for our leaders, I understand within the Anglican provinces, our leaders in the church play a huge role, and so it is very important that we seek the guidance and also support from such leaders to be able to help us have an impact on not only us as a region, but more importantly, the vulnerable ones that we're trying to reach out to in our communities.
So it's been a real joy being here at the ORAC, being with people from all over the region. There are so many strengths in this region. You've got land, you've got knowledge, you've got purpose, you've got loads of initiatives and lots of energy. And within the ORAC meeting, there's been a strong desire to build on these many strengths. So there are 5 specific areas we would love your support and encouragement in. So the first area we'd love your support in, please, is in mapping. There are many initiatives we already know about across the region, but we also know that there are many more that we haven't got recorded yet. So please share your stories with us. Please email them to us at communionforest@anglicancommunion.org. So tell us about them. And also, please put them on the map. We have a lovely resource on Restore, which is a mapping tool. All the details are on the Communion Forest website, so you can put them so the whole world can see what you're doing. And the mapping, it's not just a recording exercise. What is striking about the initiatives in this region is their holistic nature. They're not just about planting or growing trees, they're about spirituality, they're about community resilience, they're about food security, they're about child health. These are stories of mission, and it would be fabulous to be able to share these good news stories. It's sharing the gospel, it's sharing the good news of Jesus Christ. So please share your stories so everything can be mapped. The second thing that the ORAC group want to do is increase the number of initiatives in the region. The goal, the dream, is to have at least one Communion Forest activity in every diocese of the region. So that's the challenge. We'd love to see when we gather this time next year that every diocese in the region has a Communion Forest initiative, whatever is right for you, where you are. So the third area we focused on was that we want to broaden the reach of the kind of initiatives that happen in this part of the world, especially where oceans and seas are so important. So we dream dreams of maybe thinking about coral forests. So drawing on what we discussed last year at the Phono of including oceans and seas in the vision and in the ecosystems that are discussed in this part of the world, and making all that part of the Communion Forest as well. The fourth area people talked about was the need to increase capacity around conservation, to have greater skills and knowledge around how to do conservation well, how to think about the right tree for the right place, in the right place for the right purpose. We talked about the need to draw on those wells of local knowledge which are there and to gather them, and also to collaborate with external agencies, maybe government forestry departments, so that we can draw on that extensive knowledge that's in the region. And the final area that people expressed a desire to increase and work on more was to build that capacity for advocacy, to be speaking out to protect ecosystems and forests and other endangered ecosystems, that we can increase the capacity to speak out. And that would be very much building on the work of the Franciscans that Brother Chris talked about, and making a stronger voice. Doing new things is important, but if we're going to have a real impact on the world and on the fragility of our world, we need to be conserving and protecting what God has already entrusted to us. So thank you. Thank you so much for what you're doing, for your support, and we look forward to journeying together through this coming year.